The moment I stepped onto my great-grandfather's old farm, the wind felt different, like the land finally recognized me again. I bought this 100-year-old family farm back after decades, and I hadn't even finished unloading. My truck, when a loud siren echoed. Across the field, a black SUV rolled right up to my private dirt road like it owned the place. A woman with short blonde hair, your perfect HOA Karen, jumped out and barked. "You can't be here. This land is under the Pine Ridge HOA. Show me your community pass." I stared at her confused. "This isn't an HOA, this is farmland." She smirked like she had already won. "Not anymore. We expanded the HOA zone last year. You're trespassing and I'm reporting you." Before I could speak, she snapped her fingers and two uniformed men stepped out of the SUV. Except something about them was off. Their badges didn't look real and neither did their uniforms. Karen folded her arms and said loudly, "Officers, remove him. He's illegally occupying community property." I almost laughed, because she had no idea I wasn't just some random guy moving into an old farmhouse, but I stayed quiet. Let her play her little game. One of the fake cops grabbed my arm and said, "Sir, you need to leave immediately." "On whose authority?" I asked. Karen pushed forward like she was leading an army. "Mine. I run this HOA and this land follows my rules now." Her voice echoed across the field, but she couldn't see what I was looking at. The small metal stake sticking out of the ground behind her, half covered in dirt, the land survey marker I placed just this morning. The one proving this wasn't just my farm. This entire 18-acre block was legally outside any HOA boundary, and she had just stepped onto my land without permission. I didn't stop her, not yet. Because she was walking straight into the trap I set the moment I signed the deed. "Karen," I said quietly, "you might want to watch where you're standing." She rolled her eyes. "I don't care where I'm standing. I'm in charge here." I smiled slowly. Exactly. Because she had no idea that every inch of this place, every fence post, every old barn beam, every patch of soil was wired, recorded, and documented by me earlier that morning. The fake cop tightened his grip on my arm, but I didn't resist. Let them think they were in control. Karen strutted around my truck like a queen inspecting her kingdom, kicking the dirt, tapping the old fence, pretending she owned everything her eyes touched. "This is all non-compliant," she muttered loudly. "We might have to bulldoze the barn. HOA rules don't allow old structures." The barn she pointed at wasn't just any building. My great-grandfather built it with his own hands. But I stayed calm because anger wasn't needed. Not when I had something much stronger waiting. Karen's voice rose again. "Officer, take his keys. We're impounding the vehicle." I finally looked at her and said quietly, "You sure you want to do that?" She stepped closer. I said, "Take them. This entire farm falls under HOA jurisdiction, and you're breaking multiple community rules." The second officer moved toward my truck door. He grabbed the handle, and right then, a loud beep echoed across the field. Karen froze. The fake cops turned around. My phone lit up with a notification. The security system I installed earlier, tucked under the roof, inside the barn and under the soil line, had just triggered its first alert. A red dot blinked on my screen. "Unauthorized entry detected. Recorded." Karen squinted at the blinking device on the barn wall. What is that?" I tilted my phone so she could see. "That's your problem. You see this farm? Every inch of it is recorded, and you just trespassed on private land." She laughed, trying to keep control. "No, I didn't. This is HOA land." I cut her off. "Really?" "Because the county records say something else." Her smile slipped for the first time. I watched her face pale as the second notification hit my screen. Trespass footage uploaded. Auto backup enabled. Karen stepped back, confused. What footage?" I pointed at her feet. "The moment you crossed that line." Then I pointed at the fake cops. "And the moment they tried impersonating law enforcement." Both men stiffened instantly. Karen tried to recover. "You can't prove that." I walked over to the survey. Marker, half buried in the soil, and brushed the dirt off. The fresh paint glowed in the sunlight. "This marker," I said, "is the legal border. The HOA ends on that side." I pointed behind her. "This side is mine, completely outside the HOA, and you brought fake cops onto it." Fear flickered in her eyes, but stubborn pride pushed her to speak again. "You don't scare me. I'll get the real police here." I nodded slowly. "Good, because that was exactly what I wanted." She thought she was calling backup, but she had no idea who would answer that call, or what they would do when they saw the footage she just handed me on a silver tray. Karen dialed 911 with shaking hands, trying her best to hide the panic creeping into her voice. Yes, send real officers. We have a trespasser refusing to leave HOA property. She shot me a glare like she had already won, but I just stood there, calm, waiting. A few minutes later, the sound of real police cruisers echoed down the old dirt road. 2 squad cars pulled up fast, dust flying behind them. Real uniforms, real badges, real authority. Karen ran toward them. Officers, arrest him. He's violating HOA rules, he has dangerous equipment, and he threatened us. The officers didn't even look at me. Their eyes went straight to the 2 fake cops still wearing their cheap badges. Ma'am, one officer asked, who are these men? They're with me, Karen said proudly. They enforce our community regulations. The second officer stepped closer and frowned. These aren't official uniforms, and these badges are fake. Karen blinked. No, they're my enforcement team. The real cops didn't buy a word of it. They looked at me instead. Sir, can you explain what's happening? I opened my phone, tapped the security feed, and handed it to the nearest officer. Everything from the moment she stepped onto my land is recorded trespassing, impersonating officers, trying to seize my truck, breaking and entering attempts. It's all here. Karen's face drained of color.
He's lying.
This is HOA territory. I walked to the survey marker again and pointed. This is the legal border. County map matches it. Records updated 2 months ago. This farm is private land, not HOA, not her jurisdiction. The officers checked the coordinates on their tablets, then looked at Karen with the coldest stare she'd seen in her life. Ma'am, the lead officer said, you are standing on his private property. Karen stepped back fast. No, that's not right. My board approved the expansion. The county didn't, the officer replied sharply. Your HOA has zero authority here. One fake cop tried to run. The officers tackled him to the ground immediately. The other attempted to hide his badge. Too late, he was handcuffed before he blinked. Karen watched her so-called enforcement team get dragged to the squad car. Then the officer turned to her. Ma'am, you're under arrest for trespassing, conspiracy, and employing fake law enforcement. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. She just shook her head, stunned, as the cuffs clicked around her wrists. While they escorted her to the cruiser, she shouted, You can't do this. I control this land. He's nobody, he just bought an old farm. I stepped forward and said the line I'd been saving since morning. This old farm, it's been in my family for 100 years. And today, it caught you. She glared at me through the car window as they drove her away. Her perfect HOA reign crumbling like dust on the dirt road. I stood in the quiet field, the sun warm on my back, and looked at my great-grandfather's barn. This land had finally come home, and not even a power-hungry Karen could take it away again. I took a deep breath and said softly to myself, No one messes with family land. Not on my watch. The end. Please, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing HOA stories.